Daniel Mwangi was the kind of boy most people never noticed. At Kasimba University, where loud laughter, bold personalities, and constant movement defined campus life, Daniel existed quietly on the edges. He was tall, slightly lean, always dressed simply. Clean shirts, dark jeans, worn sneakers. His eyes carried thoughtfulness, but he rarely spoke unless necessary. People assumed many things about him. Some thought he was proud. Others thought he was afraid. But the truth was simpler. Daniel just preferred silence. Daniel came from a small village outside Limuru. His mother had raised him alone after his father passed away when he was young. She worked tirelessly, selling vegetables in the local market, making sure Daniel went to school. Education is your voice, she would always tell him. Even if you don't speak much, your future will speak for you. Those words stayed with him. At university, Daniel focused on his studies, engineering, a demanding course that required discipline. While others spent evenings at parties or gatherings, Daniel spent his nights in the library. He wasn't lonely. He was just comfortable in his own world.
Her name was Brenda. Brenda was everything Daniel was not: confident, outgoing, and admired. She had a way of entering a room and becoming its center without trying. People laughed louder around her. Conversations seemed brighter. And somehow, she noticed Daniel. At first, it was small. A glance in class. A hi when passing. Then one afternoon, she sat next to him in the library. "You're always here," she said, smiling. Daniel looked up briefly. "I like it here." "It's too quiet," she replied. "I like quiet," he said simply. Brenda laughed. "You're different." Daniel didn't respond, but something about that conversation lingered. Over the next few weeks, Brenda kept finding reasons to talk to him. She would sit next to him in lectures. She would ask him questions she already knew the answers to. She would joke, tease, try to pull him into conversations. Daniel remained polite, but distant. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the campus in orange light, Brenda walked with him. "You know," she said, "most guys would be excited I'm talking to them this much." Daniel stopped walking. "I'm not most guys," he said calmly. Brenda studied him carefully. "That's exactly why I like you." Daniel felt uncomfortable. "I'm not interested," he said quietly. Brenda blinked, surprised. "No one has ever said that to me before." Daniel shrugged slightly. "Now someone has." Brenda didn't give up. She believed Daniel was just shy, that deep down he liked her, but didn't know how to show it. So she tried harder. More attention, more messages, more effort. One evening, she invited him to her place under the excuse of helping her with an assignment. Daniel hesitated, but agreed. When he arrived, the environment felt different. Less about studying, more about something else. Brenda was dressed casually, but there was an intention in her tone, her closeness. "Relax," she told him, sitting near him. Daniel kept his distance. "We should focus on the work," he said. Brenda leaned closer. "You're always serious," she whispered. "Don't you ever just feel something?" Daniel stood up. "I think I should leave." Brenda frowned. "Why? Did I do something wrong?" "I told you before," Daniel said gently. "I'm not interested in a relationship." Her expression hardened slightly. "Or is it something else?" she asked. Daniel didn't answer. He walked out. Brenda wasn't used to rejection, especially not from someone like Daniel. Quiet, unnoticed, ordinary. At first, she felt confused, then embarrassed, then angry. Her friends noticed the change.
"What happened with that quiet guy?" one of them asked. Brenda hesitated. Then she laughed, but it sounded forced. "Nothing. He's just weird." "Weird how?" Brenda paused, and in that moment, she made a choice she would later regret. "I think he's, not into girls. He is gay." Her friends exchanged looks. "You mean?" Brenda nodded. "I tried. Trust me." Rumors spread faster than truth. Within days, whispers followed Daniel everywhere. In the cafeteria, in the lecture halls, in the corridors. "Is it true? I heard he turned her down. Maybe he's hiding something." Daniel noticed the stares, the sudden silence when he walked into rooms, the laughter behind his back. At first, he ignored it, but it grew louder. Friends he barely had became distant. Group discussions became uncomfortable. Even lecturers noticed something was off. One day, as Daniel sat alone under a tree, a classmate approached him. "Hey, I just wanted to ask, are you okay?" Daniel nodded. "I'm fine." The classmate hesitated. "You know people are talking, right?" Daniel looked away. "Yes." "Do you want to explain?" Daniel shook his head. "I don't owe anyone an explanation." Daniel's silence became both his shield and his burden. He refused to defend himself, not because he couldn't, but because he believed truth didn't need noise. But silence has consequences. The rumors didn't stop. They grew. Some students avoided him completely. Others mocked him quietly. Brenda watched all this from a distance. At first, she felt justified. Then, uncomfortable. But she said nothing. One afternoon, during a group presentation, someone made a joke. "Maybe Daniel should explain this part? He's good at hiding things." Laughter filled the room. Daniel stood still. For the first time, something inside him cracked. He closed his notebook. "I'm leaving," he said. The room fell silent. That evening, Daniel called his mother. "I'm tired," he said. "Of what?" she asked gently. "People, noise, lies." There was a pause. Then she said something he hadn't heard in years. "Silence is strength, my son. But sometimes, truth needs a voice." The next day, Daniel did something unexpected. He walked up to Brenda. "Can we talk?" he asked. Brenda looked surprised, but nodded. They walked to a quiet corner. "Did you start the rumors?" Daniel asked calmly. Brenda hesitated. Then, quietly, "Yes." Daniel took a deep breath. "Why?" Her voice shook slightly. "You rejected me. I felt embarrassed." Daniel nodded slowly. "So you decided to destroy my reputation?" Brenda looked down. "I didn't think it would go this far." Daniel didn't raise his voice, didn't insult her. He simply said, "I'm not what people are saying. But even if I was, it wouldn't justify what you did." Brenda felt something shift inside her. Guilt. Real guilt. "I'm sorry," she whispered. Daniel looked at her. "Then fix it." That afternoon, Brenda did something harder than spreading rumors. She told the truth. In front of her friends. In front of classmates. "I lied," she said. "Daniel didn't do anything wrong. I was just hurt." The room went quiet. People exchanged looks. The narrative changed instantly. Not everything returned to normal. Some people still whispered. Others avoided eye contact out of embarrassment. But something important had shifted. Daniel was no longer hiding. And more importantly, he didn't feel the need to.
A few days later, the same classmate who had checked on him sat beside him again. "You handled that well," he said. Daniel shrugged. "I just told the truth." The classmate smiled. "That takes courage." Daniel looked up slightly. Maybe being quiet didn't mean being weak. Daniel never became the loudest person on campus. He never tried to fit in. But something changed. People began to respect him, not because he spoke often, but because when he did, it mattered. As for Brenda, she learned a lesson she would never forget. Rejection is painful, but hurting someone else to protect your pride only creates deeper damage. This story isn't just about rumors. It's about respecting boundaries, handling rejection maturely, the danger of assumptions, and the quiet strength it takes to stand by the truth.